Well, here's another Yamaha DOA, dead on arrival, but it ran when parked. Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. Today we're going to be working on this Yamaha TTR250 behind me. A friend of mine picked this thing up for an unbelievably low sum because it didn't run. He was fortunate enough to be the first person to reply to an online ad, snagged it up, and now he's kind of hinting towards giving it to me. Now, I have a veritable cornucopia of machines in the garage, but I wouldn't turn down another one. Unfortunately, it doesn't really fit anywhere into my arsenal, but a buddy of mine is big into small bike adventures, so he said if I went on a small bike adventure with him, then I could hand it off to someone else. So that's likely what we're going to do with it. But anyway, I need to tear it down and get it running. So let's see if we can get a sign of life out of it before we do anything else. Okay, I've removed the seat, the side cover, the airbox cover. Turn the key on. This actually has two keys. We're going to figure that out later, but they're both on. And we'll spray a little bit of carburetor juice down in the intake here and see what we got. Let's see, there's the choke. I heard it fire a little bit. We'll try some straight into the intake here while I'm cranking it. I popped the boot off a little bit here. There we go. I heard a little bit. There we go. Took a little bit longer than I hoped, but we're going to pull that carburetor off because it smells like green gas. When I said it has two keys, you can see that's the original ignition. And then here's a aftermarket ignition. And we have an aftermarket dual sport kit. This thing is plated here in California, so this is actually a really nice bike. But all that said and done, we got some silliness on here. I noticed speaker wire running back here for something, so I don't know if that's for this ignition or what it is, but we'll worry about that later. Right now we're going to worry about this carburetor, and then an additional discovery. We've got a cracked subframe here, so we're going to figure out what we're going to do with that, and I'll worry about that after we get the bike running. That might be a separate video because that's going to involve some welding, and we'll see what we can do with that. But in the meantime, I'm going to get this carburetor off. I've already loosened the boot, like I said, on the back here. You loosen the boot on the front, take off the throttle cables, and then hopefully we'll be able to wiggle it on out of here. It looks like I've worked on these before, so if I remember right, it comes out okay. Well, we'll see. Well, there's our beautiful carburetor, and if you watch my channel, I've got several carburetor videos, so I'm not going to cover the entire thing on here. This one's not a lot different from any of the other ones. You remove the float bowl, get in here, but we're just going to open this up together on camera because I'm here, I can get to smell it. You guys don't get to smell it on the video, of course, but I think we're gonna see that it looks pretty awful in here. Actually not terrible, but you see those deposits in the bottom there, varnish, and then That's supposed to be brass right there. See that? So that thing is not going to flow any fuel the way it is. So we're going to take all this apart, clean it all up. We'll clean the whole carburetor body. I've seen much worse, but this is definitely the reason why she's not starting. So we'll get her cleaned up and put that back on and see what happens with this bike. Okay, got the carburetor cleaned up, reinstalled. Probably going to put the air filter and the cover back on here. Put the tank on, get a little bit of gas in it, and let's see if she fires up. Okay, I've turned on both keys and turned on the fuel. Choke is on. Oops. Kick the camera for good measure. Let's see what happens. Almost. It made a sound. I've removed the drain plug from the bottom of the carburetor and no fuel is coming out of there, so either our filter's plugged up or there's an issue there. So I'm going to try replacing this with just a piece of tubing, and we'll see if we get fuel coming out of the bowl. She won't start if she don't have fuel. I decided that our best course of action is to remove the carburetor, and our needle and our seat are kind of not the best here. Even though I cleaned it, I didn't do the best job, and I didn't clean this seat up. So I'm going to show you a little trick here. I got some metal polish. I have a Q-tip that I cut in half, inserted into my cordless drill. Put some of that metal polish on the end of this thing, and we're going to try to polish this thing up inside of here. And then you can do it with the second half of the other Q-tip here, or the second half of the same Q-tip. And then we'll try to clean this up a little bit better and see how that action is, because it appears that we were not getting fuel at all because that was hanging up. We got her all reinstalled. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's without even having the choke on. Not too bad. All right, now that we got it running, we're going to start addressing some of the little things on here. Of course, it needs a bath. I noticed that this has nothing to do with the running of the machine. So this key only controls the dual sport kit, which is kind of nice because that's completely separate then. So let me shut that off. But that being said, we don't have a headlight. Headlight's not working at all. We don't have a tail light. We do have a brake light. Let's see if I can get that to activate. There we go. So we'll pull this off. Hopefully that's just a bulb. The same with the headlight. And try to get all the lights working. The turn signals all appear to work. Front, rear. Of course you heard the horn. That turn signal and that turn signal. So let's try to get these lights working first and foremost. We'll save the bath for later. So it appeared that the taillight bulb was burned out, but that is not working yet. But I did remove the headlight, and I have low beam, high beam off, and then our little running light is still working there. So I just need to trace down the power probably to this tail light. I put a new bulb, like I said. No joy. Well, now that I got her running, I made up a little soapy water, cleaned up this back wheel, which didn't actually clean up as good as I thought it would. I guess these are painted rims or something. They look pretty terrible. And I cleaned the chain and lubed it. And I guess the next thing I'll do is I'll bleed out the brakes. And I might even just sand this down and paint it. I'm not looking to go too crazy on the cosmetics on this, but I can make it look a little bit better. Brake fluid doesn't look great, but it doesn't look bad either. But we'll just bleed out the front and rear brakes. And I'm going to wait and do an oil change a little bit later. But, I mean, she started up and ran so good that I'm a little bit overwhelmed with how easy this has been. That looks a little bit better. A little bit of Krylon on that. It's not amazing, but it's better. Definitely have better brake feel now. There was some air in there along with the dirty fluid. Probably had water in the system. But I think for now, we're going to call that good. Everything works on it right now. The tail light. Well, tail light did work. There we go. Tail light, headlight. There we go. High beam. And she runs good. And I took it up and down the driveway and down the street, got it into all 6 gears. Everything is working. So now we're going to work on some cosmetics maybe in another video. And we also had that frame crack, but that's the subframe. So from sitting on it, it doesn't seem bad, but it's definitely something that's got to get fixed. So we will take care of that. Salute. Okay, if you're enjoying the videos, let's get a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below so that I know that you're watching. And if you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.